we queer up the worldview. Hungary's Viktor Orbán accuses the EU of pushing LGBTQ+ offensive. On Saturday, Hungarian Prime Minister Orbán, known for his anti-LGBTQ+ agenda, once again took the opportunity to lambast the EU and LGBTQ+ community while speaking at a festival in a region of Romania home to a large Hungarian community. He told the audience they had no choice but to fight to defend what he regards as traditional Christian values. Orbán also alleged that the federalists in the EU are trying to squeeze out his government. Orbán also denounced the union for wanting a change in government in 2022. Viktor Orbán and the EU have come to blows over his anti-LGBTQ+ policies. In 2021, Orbán, who has positioned himself as a so-called defender of Hungary's Christian values, introduced a law banning the display and promotion of LGBTQ+ identities among under 18-year-old people. The LGBTQ+ propaganda law has also been used by Orbán's ruling party to attack queer books like Alice Oseman's hit series Heartstopper, censoring a lesbian kiss in an episode of Jessica Jones on state TV, and inciting verbal and physical violence against LGBTQ+ people. Last year, the EU launched legal action against Hungary over legislation saying it discriminates against people based on their sexual orientation and gender identity. And you know, we've been following the despicable things out of Hungary for some time, and they're really setting themselves apart from the rest of the continent. Even Poland has, in part due to the Ukraine war, has become more LGBT friendly, or at least accepting. Hungary is just doubling down, and it's dangerous, but I don't think it's dangerous for people outside of Hungary, because Russia is now such a pariah that I don't really think countries like Turkey or Poland are going to buck EU membership in order to support their LGBTQ+. So I think there's a political advantage in the cards right now.
Well, as someone whose paternal grandmother was born in Hungary, who escaped Hungary's anti-Semitic, quote, traditional Christian values as a, end quote, as a child, this story makes me fearful about everything that's happening, the rise of the right wing in Eastern Europe. It just feels frighteningly familiar.
I just think it's crazy how folks feel like they can beat something out of someone, or you remove it from black and white and it still doesn't exist when it's always been. And so that's just been so amazing, because all it does to me is it helps people buck the system, because you're going to beat me down, but all I'm going to do is continue to rise and or do it in secret. And we can continue to try to survive until we're able to then cause our own kind of war against. And so when I hear we're going to beat it out of you, or we're going to take it away, or we're not going to publicize it, guess what? All you're doing is make me want to learn it more. You make me push forward.
I'm sorry. Our story today is talking about Orbán in Hungary. We're not talking about Florida. And don't say gay, don't say woke. And let's teach that slaves learn something good by being oh, wait. I'm sorry. Maybe that wasn't your point. You know, it's interesting to me. Orbán makes the point in Romania, by the way, that he is defending traditional Christian values. Take out defending Christian values and put in parental rights. And you get to the same illogical justifications of the fascist decision-making that defends these kinds of statements. And yes, I'm talking about our governor here in Florida, and I'm talking about the president of Hungary. I agree with John. The walls are closing in on Orbán, because the European Union, unlike what we're seeing in large swaths of the radical Republican control in the United States, are absolutely saying no way, even to the potential that we will censor Hungary. We will withhold millions and millions of euros out of Hungary because of it. And that's one of the principal reasons why Poland has responded the way they did. I just also want to point and make the observation in terms of Orbán's principal premise. He justifies his decision-making based on the overwhelming majority of Christians and Christian values. That is not true. He is claiming something that is not true. The majority of Christians around the world are supportive of LGBT rights, they're supportive of LGBT marriage, and they're supportive of the LGBTQ plus community. He is a minority point of view, justifying it on the majority of Christian value and Christian religion. And then the second thing that I would say is the majority of Christians are not the majority of the decision-making of the top end of decision makers. What goes on at Liberty University, even in Virginia, is not what the majority of Christians in Virginia thinks. And for you to even take a second to justify or think, well, maybe Orbán is right, he isn't. He is taking a position to justify his own stance by using majority rule. And why is he doing that? For power, control, and money. Just like the radical evangelicals in the United States. Orbán in Hungary, the walls are closing in on you. We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ plus evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ plus community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.